Small dog bark loud. This video starts with me walking through the madhouse over to the cardboard box where I take out a deck of Madison Rounders Return to the Architect. I think about the cards a little bit, sit down and play with them at the table, do that fancy pop-out move, bing bong, bang bang, the deck vanishes, cut to me right now in front of this camera, in front of this light, talking about the Madisonist deck, the Madisonist logo, and how it resembled the death of the architect, Kill the Architect. I'm gonna throw that playing card, turn back to talk more about the upside down cross, how it was controversial, but it really stood for Saint Simon. What's going on, Charlie? Saint Simon Peter, who didn't want to be crucified the same way as Jesus, so he was crucified upside down. I'm going to become aware of this video in an attempt to offer a meta, if not a meta-modern expression of artistry, and before we move on to before we cut to the first Charlie logo, I'm going to become fully aware. And then this video will end with me saying, what's that smell? Who's watching this? The architect built the cage for us to protect us. It was self-protection, and then when we broke out of that in search of creative freedom, there had to be a ceremony in the shape of Madisonist. It needed a tombstone, it needed a tomb, it needed somewhere to be buried. And now with this newfound freedom that Charlie and I had, we just didn't know what to do with it. So they took a lot of preparation before we took off, before we flew. We knew that those two arrows were coming for us, and the decision was, were we gonna let them hit us so that we can use that pain as useful paint, or do we dodge those, do we avoid them? There is no avoiding war, Madison. There is only avoiding it to the advantage of our opponent, to the advantage of our enemy, so that we can use that pain as useful paint. And one day, Charlie woke up and he took flight, and he took both arrows with pride, and he used that, and he took those arrows with pride, and he took both arrows with pride, and he used that pain as useful paint. Charlie, is this where it all ends? Small dog bark loud.
Hi, I'm Daniel Madison. I'm in the middle of a very big video at the minute. I don't mean long, I mean big. There's a lot going on. The video is called Legacy. And from that word, you might be able to figure out where it's going and what it's about and what the end of that video means. That video, this video right here, are going to be the final 2 videos that I make this year. I think, never say never. But we are running out of time. 2022 is very significant for me. I'm going to make it very symbolic. More importantly, I'm going to make it sacred. Not with my words, with my actions. And it's funny that I say that because my words are going to be very important in 2022. You know, you learn from failing, you learn from your struggles, from your suffering. And my suffering, my darkness is my biggest teacher. And I think I confused my passion with my calling. Which, you know, the passion is the playing cards, the performance of deceptive arts for the sake of executing and delivering magic as a moment, as an experience, as something for somebody else to experience, to take them away from that darkness, from what they're suffering from, even if it's just for a moment. For me to lock myself in this prison, the madhouse, as a hermit, and to be at one with my darkness, I know that my calling is to help others. And if I can't not manage, but befriend my own darkness, how can I help anybody else with theirs? And it sounds a little bit strange, you know, a magician, somebody who messes around playing cards, you know, trying to help somebody. How can you help somebody? Well, I believe that's my calling, to help people, and I've been going about it the wrong way. So 2022 is... the knife is real. You know, I believe this. This isn't pretend. None of it's fake. None of it's... And that's the funny thing about magic, because you know, it's like taxidermy. It's not. It's real, but it's not real. And the video is called Legacy, that I'm working on right now, that I'm in the middle of. And I had this idea in my mind that I wanted to break free. And I try not to say too much, because there's videos that I have and there's messages that I planned for you. You know, the problem with my darkness, what I call my madness, Asperger's, ASD, the whole lot, sensory overload, disorder, it's always changing. And when I say changing, the conventional sense is worsening, it's getting worse. And because of that, you know, soon, once you befriend it and once you learn to live with it and survive with it, survive is the word, once you learn to survive with it, not manage it, because you can't manage it, you can't be the boss of it, you have to let it do its own thing, and you have to coexist. It's a very symbiotic relationship that you have with your darkness, and because it's always changing, you are always adapting and you're always trying to keep up. And I'm finding that I'm trying to keep up a lot, and all the actions that I do and everything that all the decisions that I'm going to make and everything that's going to change is that's just me surviving. And along the way, if I can befriend my darkness, and if I can survive, if I'm living proof of learning how to understand and not just live with, but be happy with that madness, if I can help other people through that is my calling. That feels right. When I say it, my mind thinks it, my body feels it, and it's out into the universe and it feels. I just know that that's the right thing. I know it's the right thing. Playing cards, passion, the deceptive practices, the deceptive arts, light hand, magic. That's my passion. That will be forever. Every single day of my life that will be, and I'll always share everything with you. My calling is in helping. So that's one of the directions I'm leaning in. And the reason I got on film right now is, I've always said, you know, you have to try and make your environment a product of you and not the other way around. Don't become a product of your environment. Easy for me to say. It's not always easy to do, but the funny thing about that, a little bit like the grandfather paradox theory, you know, if you could go back in time and kill your grandfather, then he wouldn't have created your mother, and your mother wouldn't have created you, so you couldn't have gone back in time to kill him, right? So when I say kill the architect, it's a very metaphorical, it's a very specific meaning that might not translate in the way that I mean it, but that's the beautiful thing about creating art. It's supposed to be misunderstood. and the people who are meant to understand it will understand it. So in creating, in making your environment a product of you, don't you then become a product of your environment. There's a lot to think about. A lot is going to change. A lot of things are changing. And I know people say this, and a lot of people say this, but you look at my legacy, look at my history. Whenever I've said that, I've done it, and I mean it. And 2022 is going to be a big deal. A lot of changes, a lot of things, a lot of expressions that aren't going to push me back into darkness. They're going to allow me to survive with it at whatever cost, whatever the consequence, come quay, by any means necessary. And things are going to get strange just the way that I like it. Magic is dead. Small dog, bark loud. And every once in a while the lion has to let the other jackals who he is. But my lion survives with the jackals. He befriends them, he becomes them. And the jackals befriend the lion, they survive together. So in exposing myself and using my fights, my battles, my strategies, and sharing them with you, then maybe, if I'm helping people, I would sooner help people through, God forbid, if anybody's out there going through what I go through on a daily basis, like, what it's like, I know what it's like. If I can help one person through any kind of darkness, then I'm happier doing that than anything else. So 2022, those two numbers, 22, got them tattooed on me. That number follows me everywhere. Charlie Madison. It's symbiotic. And they can't fight anymore. And they can't try to conquer each other. They have to be friends. And they have to coexist. And more importantly, they have to share what's happening. No matter how humiliating, like right now, or how embarrassing it might feel, get used to it. I'm here to help and fix others. If I don't do that, then I've failed. So Legacy is on the way. I filmed the last scene. There's one more thing I want to film, which is the voice. And it's quite a big message in this video, and it ends with, try not to show this on film, it ends with, this will speak for itself. I'm Daniel Madison. 2021 was painful, it was beautiful, it was a blast, it was one hell of a journey, and that is the key word. We are not a destination, we are a journey. I'm Daniel Madison, and I'll see you in 2022. Charlie, thanks